Welcome to another episode, everyone. Tiny KD from R40's Crip hit the county jail and hit the module tripping hard. Crashed out on an individual from Black Peastone. But the dude from Black Peastone was also a rider. And so these two individuals ended up going to war with one another. As we all know, the Los Angeles County Jail is replete with gang violence. You must get down for your grits if you are a gang member. I don't care who you are or who you think you are. The politics in there are strong, the gang politics, and there is a lot of bloodshed in the Los Angeles County Jail as it relates to gang violence. And when Tiny KD hit the county jail and hit the module, I didn't think much of it at first. I did not know that Tiny KD, come to find out, is indeed a reputable individual. He's light brown skin, light skin even, with glasses, and you probably would mistake him for someone in a prep school. Not necessarily a strong gang member, but he indeed was that. Looks are deceiving. He came into the module. He made it clear who he was. Tiny KD from Rolling 40's, and he wanted all of the smoke. He tended to mind his own business and didn't bother anyone. Nevertheless, if a so-called enemy came into the module, he needed that fade with that individual immediately. Tiny KD had my back in a situation where I got into it with a couple of individuals who act like they were going to come out and start running the module. Tiny KD, we went in the day room and we were resolving the issue, and Tiny KD happened to be in the day room and took my side. Clearly. After that, he and I had a decent relationship. Tiny KD, I would go to his cell, we would chop it up. He would tell me, "Big bro, I respect you. I like the way that you comport yourself around here, around the module. Nevertheless, I must let you know, if one of your young homies come in here, we got to get it in. We got to squabble. I just want to let you know, because I don't want you to think it's something against you if I end up squabbling one of your little homies." I let him know it's all good. I respect you as well. And I would expect you to say something like that. You're young and active. As you know, my young homies are in this Los Angeles County Jail absolutely wilding out. You're going to get everything you're looking for as it relates to one of these individuals when they hit the module. They are around the Los Angeles County Jail and Wayside, terrorizing the place. You know this. You've heard the names. You've heard the folklore. As fate would have it, an individual from Black Peastone instead, at first, hits the module. He comes in. Now, they had a big shipment off the Wayside. So there were a lot of empty cells inside of the module. This is when KD had made the statement to me that if one of your young homies come in, we got to handle it, because we know that they're about to fill up the module. About to be a shitload of people coming inside of this module tonight, in the morning, what have you. Both. Instead, none of my young homies came in. I already had one that was there, but him and KD didn't fight for different reasons. It would not have been a good match. It would not have been a good fight. Those two did not fight. There was only one in the module. But there were some neighborhoods in the module, Bloods, everything. Black Peastones and the Rolling 40 Crips, they have a deadly beef going on, a decades-long beef on the street. They do not get along. Young dude from BPS comes down the tier, just entering the module. He has his sheets, his blanket, etc. He has his belongings with him. He walking down the module, and he throwing up the B. Black P Stone, BPS, BPS. It's what he yelling as he's walking down the tier. BPS, you will find people doing this. People running to their cell doors, to the bars, yelling out their hood. Hoover, woo, 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 woo. The Bloods let them know that he's not alone. Everybody banging their set. KD, he go to the bars. He see the dude. His whole demeanor changes, KD. BPS gets down to his cell, goes inside. A few cells down from KD. We're all on the same tier. I go down there to KD. He summons me. What up? I know this individual. You got to get me out right now. He and I have unfinished business that we must handle. KD, here we go. He's turned up, and this is just what it is. So I told KD, in the Los Angeles County Jail, there were still remnants of the Suwoo moving and grooving. This, for those who may not know, Suwoo are the Bloods, moving are the gangsters, grooving are the Hoovers. All three of these gangs, factions clicked up and called it SMG, Suwoo moving and grooving. Bloods, gangsters, and Hoovers all together as one had an alliance that started. Suwoo moving and grooving started. It began right there in the Los Angeles County Jail. The neighborhoods are not a part of this. KD said, get him out. He needs to go down here and handle this. I let KD know, hold on, let me go down here and let young BPS know what the situation is. There will be no sneak attacks. I cannot just get your cell hit. I know you got a knife. I know KD had a blicky. I can't just get your cell hit and then get his cell hit and allow you to run in there and do whatever you plan on doing without letting him know what's going on. People would say, they could twist it and say that I set it all up. I set the young homie from BPS up in favor of a neighborhood. I mess with you, KD. You my guy. I can't take it that far. I go down there and I let BPS know. You got fades on a tier, meaning you have squabbles. You have an individual down here from R40's Crip who wants to squabble you up immediately. BPS, not surprisingly, did not hesitate and said, no problem, get the cell hit, bro. Let's get it in. Who is it? I said, it's Tiny KD from R40's. He said that he knows you. He said, oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I know. Oh, Mando on Bloods, Mando. Get him out. They had deep animus for one another. They indeed knew one another and had a score to settle. No problem. BPS said, is it up? He coming down here with the thing or what? Because we on like that. He's asking if KD is about to try to stab him. He wants to know, should he get his thing out and do him in? I just told him the truth. I don't know. I'm not going to go that far. I can't say. You have to ask him that. You just be prepared. Be ready. If you want me to make it to where there are no blickies involved, I can do that. I can go down and holler at KD and say, bro, it's just going to be a squabble. You just got to squabble up. I can't necessarily tell him what to do, but I had the module. And this was my guy. No doubt that he'd have went with that, I believe. But BPS said, no, you ain't got to tell him nothing. It's whatever. BPS, young, about 25 years old, dark skinned with a little small fro. I forget his name. Had a little size on him cut up. He was with the business. He was not scared whatsoever. So I went down there and I told Tiny KD what the deal was. He said he does know you. He ready for the fun. He wants to smoke. Tiny KD wasn't surprised. I said, okay, cool, set it up. Get the doors cracked. I said, okay, cool. That's what I did. Got KD's door hit and got old boys from BPS door hit, and KD went inside of his cell. BPS. I'm right there on the tier. First, they're just squabbling up. Do. As I said, KD, he doesn't really look like a fighter. Even though he was a little chunky, he had a little size on him, he just doesn't look like that sort of guy. A gangbanger at all, much less a killer. But he is. He was. I should say Tiny KD is resting in peace now, if I haven't already said that. He was killed in gang violence. The individual who was accused of his unaliving ended up coming to the county jail. After KD had got out, got killed. It's a whole story behind it, which I'm not going to get into. I know exactly what happened. Dude ended up coming to the county jail. Rest in peace, Tiny KD. A real soldier. And they're in there and they're squabbling. Do. Peace Stone, he getting them up. And it's a war inside of the cell. I mean, they're running into everything, running into the bunks, canteen all over the floor. These dudes are in here scrapping, nonstop, hard. They both are hitting hard. Neither one wants to hit the ground. Neither one wants to tap out and say, all right, that's it, it's cool. Neither one's going to be the one to do that. So they just not stopping. They're going at it, but no one has pulled out a knife, which is good. They just squabbling up. I know for a fact KD had a knife on him. I know this. I know. But so did BPS. I knew that for a fact. That was clear. And I didn't tell either one of them what to do. But neither one of them put out the knife. They were just squabbling. But the squabble was a fierce one. You could hear the smacks on the jaw. Bam, bam, bam. Both of them, to the point they had to separate to catch their breath because they're going at it that hard. Boom, 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 boom. They had to separate, catch their breath. KD went up against the bars with his back to the bars, facing BPS. BPS went back by the phone inside of the cell, facing KD. They both breathing. And they're both like, let's go. And bam, locked back up. Boom, 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 boom. This went on for some time. They both began to bleed about the face area to the point where I finally said, this is over. The fight is done. Got his cell hit, got KD out of the cell, ushered him back to his cell. No harm, no foul, though both individuals were battered and bruised. But it didn't end there because both of them wanted to run it back. They both wanted to fight each other again, even though this was already one of the sickest fights I've seen. They wanted to fight each other again the next day. I got the cells hit again. No one had a chance to heal up, just a chance to wipe off the blood. Went back into the cell and they went to war. Still, no knives, no weapons were drawn. They were not needed. They were brutalizing one another enough. They began to squabble again. This time, KD caught BPS with one right up under the chin. Bam! And he dropped. KD didn't get up on him. He didn't try to dog him out. He let him get back up. They respected one another from that first fight, clearly. Though they had animus against one another, they ended up, I believe, cultivating a healthy respect for one another. KD let him up, and he got right back up. He jumped, he sprung back up. He just went down for a second, but he sprung back up, and they locked up. And again, they both are bleeding. KD's mouth is bloody. His lip is beginning to swell, and his mouth is bloody. I'm thinking, man, he might have knocked his teeth out or something because it's gushing out to the point where I had to stop it again the second time. Because these dudes are not going to stop. Someone's going to have to stop them. I recognized this early on. Neither one of them are going to say, I'm cool, all right, it's cool. Neither one are going to do that. They ready to fight to the death. I had to stop it. I got the cell hit and went there and stopped it. Got KD back down to his cell. And that was the end of that. They went to war for 2 days straight amongst one another. It was a bloody war. Both of them were battered and bruised when it was all said and done. But then, as fate would have it, in walks a Hoover. KD's dream came through the door. But KD is already battered. He's not 100%. It doesn't matter. He has a warrior spirit. Him and BPS has squashed their issue, resolved, and in fact, BPS ended up transferring, going to wayside or something some days later. But in walks a Hoover into the module. And the Hoover that walked in was just as crazy as KD. He was of the crazy variety. In fact, he had been around the Los Angeles County Jail, somewhat terrorizing the place. So when he came in, he didn't hesitate when he found out who all was in the module. And KD, of course, had already made it clear that he wanted that smoke should one of the young Hoovers come in. And he got his wish. Wasn't planning on a part 2, but I'm going to have to break it. And in part 2, I'll let you know what happened when in walks a Hoover. This was in 2800 Los Angeles County Jail. In walks a Hoover. And he had his glasses on looking for smoke. He wanted it. I let him know as soon as he came that he had that. Tiny KD, a reputable individual from 40's, was here and had just put in some work. He's active and activated and ready to go. In fact, he's been waiting on you. And this tickled the Hoover. These two individuals ended up in an epic clash. Bring it to you in part 2. Let me know what you think in the comments. Rest in peace to Tiny KD from Rolling 40's Crip. It's emotional. I know what happened there. I hate that it happened to him like that. I don't see him as an individual from Rolling 40's Crip that got killed. I just see him as a good brother, a young brother who lost his life. Just another brother who lost his life in this struggle, in this game, in this gang nonsense, this genocidal, self-destructive self-killing gang culture. Someone who we all could have used in the community for good, who we all needed, a good brother, who would have eventually changed his ways. Rest in peace to KD. Stay safe and stay free, people.